Hollywood is currently screaming, and for the first time in history, the elite are powerless to stop it.
Why?
Because the loudest voice in the room belongs to the man they tried to bury alive. Orlando Brown didn't just break his silence. He just shattered the entire industry. Right now, as you watch this, a digital dead man switch is counting down on a private, encrypted server. At the center of it, a file so radioactive it makes every previous leak look like a bedtime story. Orlando Brown is no longer just an actor. He is the custodian of the Blackmail list, a comprehensive, unredacted ledger of every A-list celebrity, world leader, and media mogul who stepped foot on that forbidden island. But here's the kicker. Orlando is claiming he doesn't just have names. He has the visual receipts, the audio logs, and the contracts of silence that kept your favorite idols protected for decades. The industry is in a state of absolute, unadulterated cardiac arrest. They called him crazy, they called him a liar, but as the clock ticks down to zero, the only thing Hollywood is calling him is master. You aren't just watching a video. You are witnessing the final moments of the entertainment industry as we know it. Stick around, because the first name we're about to drop will change your childhood forever. To understand why the world is currently shaking at its foundations, you have to understand the man holding the detonator. Orlando Brown. Once the golden boy of the Disney Channel, the charismatic star who was supposed to be Hollywood's next legendary leading man. But then something snapped. Or more accurately, something was revealed. For over a decade, the public has watched Orlando's public spiral, with a mix of mockery and pity. He went on podcast CX screaming about things that sounded like pure science fiction, clones, dark industry rituals, and the literal basements of the elite. The internet laughed. Late-night hosts used his name as a punchline for going off the deep end. But what if I told you that Orlando's madness was actually the most meticulously crafted shield in the history of espionage? High-level insiders, people who have operated in the shadows of the industry for 30 years, now claim that Orlando Brown was never crazy. He was playing the only card he had left to stay alive. By adopting an erratic, non-credible persona, he became a witness that no court would take seriously. The elite let him live because they believed he was a broken toy. They thought his brain was too fried by the industry to ever be a threat. They thought they had successfully discredited him before he even opened his mouth. They were dead wrong. While Hollywood was busy making memes out of his viral rants, Orlando was reportedly functioning as the central hub for an underground network of industry ghosts. We're talking about former security detail who guarded the private island, disgruntled personal assistants to the world's most powerful moguls, and tech whistleblowers who were discarded like trash after their contracts ended. These people saw the unimaginable. They recorded the unrecordable. And they needed a vessel to hold the truth, someone the industry wouldn't suspect was building a digital fortress. They chose Orlando. For the last 3 years, Orlando Brown hasn't just been wandering. He has been a digital nomad, moving between high-security safe houses, allegedly staying 3 steps ahead of the private fixers, elite mercenaries hired by Hollywood moguls to retrieve a specific, encrypted hard drive. This isn't just a disgruntled actor looking for a comeback. This is a man who has lived in the belly of the beast and escaped with its most guarded secrets. The island was always the crown jewel of their darkness. It was the place where the laws of man and the rules of morality were completely suspended. For years, the mainstream media told us the story ended with a single arrest. They told us the files were sealed to protect the victims. But Orlando is screaming a different truth. Those files weren't sealed for the victims. They were sealed to protect the clients. The billionaires, the America's sweethearts, the moral authorities of our world. The history between Orlando and this inner circle is a blood-soaked map of betrayal. Orlando has hinted that he was initiated into this world at a tragically young age. He saw the Blackmail list being compiled in real time. In Hollywood, you don't get a seat at the table for free. You're given a gift, and in return, you provide them with compromat, a dark secret they can use to destroy you if you ever stop being a puppet. Orlando was the puppet who cut his own strings. The industry is currently in a state of absolute, unadulterated cardiac arrest because Orlando didn't just leak names, he leaked a hierarchy. He has categorized the A-listers into the observers, the participants, and the financiers. And he claims he has the banking records to prove it. The tension is so thick you can feel it through the screen. A-list stars, who are usually posting every meal on Instagram, have suddenly vanished. Their PR teams are issuing mental health break statements at an unprecedented rate. Why? Because they know that Orlando Brown doesn't just have a list, he has a map. And that map leads straight to the front doors of the most untouchable people on Earth. But as the world begins to realize that Orlando's insanity was actually his greatest weapon, a new, even more disturbing detail has surfaced. A phone call was intercepted just 48 hours ago, a call that proves the elite aren't just trying to silence Orlando. They are trying to negotiate for their lives. And what Orlando said in response will haunt you. Get ready, because the background is over. Now, we dive into the first major leak, the 3 a.m. ultimatum that sent the Kardashian empire into a tailspin. The explosion didn't happen on the news. It didn't happen in a press release. It happened in the dead of night, at exactly 3:14 a.m., when Orlando Brown went live on a burner account for exactly 90 seconds. There was no music, no laughing, no crazy rants. Orlando simply sat there, staring into the camera with a chilling, surgical intensity. He held up a physical folder, thick, weathered, and bound in heavy black leather, stamped with a vintage logo of a law firm that mysteriously vanished in the late 90s. He didn't say a word. He just flipped through the pages. The internet froze. Within minutes, the live stream was ripped and circulated through encrypted Discord servers and private Telegram groups. Amateur sleuths began a frame-by-frame analysis that revealed the impossible. Names of America's sweethearts, names of Oscar-winning heroes, and most shockingly, the names of an entire reality TV dynasty were listed next to dates that aligned perfectly with the darkest years of the secret island. But then came the first twist that turned the industry's panic into a full-blown riot. A high-level audio recording, allegedly intercepted from a secure line inside a major Beverly Hills talent agency, leaked onto the dark web. In this audio, you hear a voice that sounds disturbingly like a top-tier Hollywood mogul, hyperventilating. This isn't the voice of a powerful executive. This is the voice of a man who knows he is staring at the end of his life. The voice screams, "I don't care about the money. Give him the 500 million. Buy the servers. Buy the entire cloud provider if you have to. Just do not let him release the 2017 manifest." Why 2017? Because 2017 was the year the public was told the island was closed for business. Orlando is claiming that 2017 was actually the year it went corporate. The conflict reached a boiling point when Orlando's legal guardians, a mysterious group of shadow attorneys who claimed to be representing the truth, issued a formal statement. They revealed that Orlando had been approached by a consortium of global executives, offering him a staggering $500 million settlement. The deal was simple: hand over the Blackmail list, sign a permanent non-disclosure agreement, and enter a high-security witness protection program in a country of his choice. It was the ultimate golden parachute. Orlando Brown's response was a middle finger to the entire establishment. He didn't just reject the money. He posted a screenshot of the transfer request with a caption that read, "You can't buy back the souls you sold. The debt is due." The industry immediately pivoted to scorched earth mode. Within 2 hours, every major social media platform had wiped Orlando's traces. But the Streisand effect took over. The more they tried to hide it, the faster the Blackmail list fragments spread. These fragments contained what Orlando calls the activities log. This wasn't just a list of names, it was a breakdown of roles. This is where the emotional betrayal hits the hardest. Imagine finding out that the icons you looked up to, the ones who stood on stage and lectured you about social justice and humanity, were categorized in Orlando's files as the financiers. Orlando is claiming that several beloved A-listers weren't just visitors. They were the ones funding the private security teams that kept the victims trapped. The first major twist, however, came from an unexpected source. A second leak appeared, seemingly as a retaliation. A counter-whistleblower claiming to be an ex-employee of a famous billionaire family leaked a series of frantic text messages. These messages suggest that the blackmail list Orlando holds isn't just a visitor log, it's a list of shareholders. The twist? The secret island wasn't owned by one man. Orlando is alleging it was a joint venture, a subscription-based playground for the global elite. And he has the billing statements. He has the records of who paid for the upgrades to the facility. The reaction from the industry was a desperate attempt at character assassination. Suddenly, leaked medical records of Orlando started surfacing, trying to prove he was in a manic state. But it backfired spectacularly.
Why?
Because the public noticed a pattern. Every time Orlando mentioned a specific name, a new scandal involving him would hit the news. It was too coordinated, too precise. The conflict has now moved from the digital world to the physical one. Rumors are swirling that a no-fly list of celebrities has been privately circulated among private jet companies. Stars are terrified that if they try to leave the country, they'll be intercepted by federal agents who are finally being forced to look at Orlando's data. But just as the internet was processing the shareholder revelation, Orlando dropped a bombshell that changed the stakes of the game. He claimed that the 2017 manifest contains the name of a person so unbelievable, so holy in the eyes of the public, that their exposure would cause a global economic collapse. Is Orlando talking about who we think he's talking about? The clues are all pointing in one direction. The industry isn't just trying to silence a man anymore, they're trying to prevent a revolution. But Orlando has one more card to play in this section, a secret recording of a fixer trying to break into his safe house. Hold your breath, because step 4 is where we dive into the Red Room recordings and the elite names that are currently being erased from history. As the blackmail list began to circulate on the dark web, the escalation reached a fever pitch. This isn't just a social media trend anymore. It's an all-out war for the survival of the Hollywood hierarchy. The X servers were reportedly struggling to keep up as the hashtag the Orlando list reached a staggering 50 million posts in under 24 hours. The world was demanding blood, and Orlando Brown was ready to give it to them. But then came the reveal that stopped the world's heart. Orlando posted a single, cryptic image to a temporary hosting site, a screenshot of a digital file folder containing 1,400 video files. The file highlighted was labeled The Red Room. July 2014. Orlando didn't just leak names this time. He revealed the method. He claimed that the blackmail list was just the index for a massive, high-definition visual library. According to Orlando, every single inch of that private island was rigged with military-grade, hidden surveillance. The elites thought they were in a sanctuary where they could indulge in their darkest impulses without consequence. In reality, they were in a 24/7 recording studio. They weren't guests, they were livestock. They were being farmed for leverage, and the Red Room recordings were the ultimate insurance policy for the island's owners. The backlash from the industry was instantaneous and violent. A joint task force of the most expensive celebrity lawyers on the planet, men who charge $5,000 an hour just to pick up the phone, issued a universal God-tier cease and desist to every major tech platform. They claimed the recordings were malicious AI fabrications designed to extort the entertainment industry. But the public wasn't buying the AI excuse.
Why?
Because of the mirror effect. People began cross-referencing the leaked timestamps on Orlando's list with public PR disappearances from the last decade. Remember when that legendary pop star went to rehab for 3 months in the summer of 2014? Orlando's list places them on the island during that exact 90-day window. Remember the mysterious illness that forced a beloved talk show host to cancel their show for a month? The list shows they were being processed at the island's New Mexico facility. The blackmail list is acting like a Rosetta Stone for every Hollywood mystery of the last 20 years. It's filling in the gaps of every unexplained career collapse and every sudden rise to fame. Then the second shockwave hit. A second twist that proved this was a global operation. A high-profile reality TV queen, a woman whose family name is literally a global brand, was allegedly caught on a hot mic during a leaked production meeting. The audio, which has been scrubbed from the internet 3 times already, catches her whispering to her mother. If Orlando releases the New Mexico tapes, we have to burn the entire trust. We have to make it look like the servers were hacked by a foreign state. The New Mexico tapes. This implies the island was just the beginning. Orlando is claiming there was a network, a franchise of horror, stretching from the Caribbean to the high deserts of the US. And he claims the footage from New Mexico is even more graphic, involving ritualistic industry initiations that would make the public lose their sanity. The escalation has turned the internet into a digital civil war. On one side, you have the truth seekers, calling Orlando a modern-day hero who is burning down the Temple of Lies. On the other, you have the industry loyalists, claiming this is a high-level psychological operation designed to destabilize the country. But the division is being fueled by a media blackout, so obvious it's become a joke. While the hashtags trend globally, the 6 p.m. news is reporting on the weather and cat videos. This silence is the loudest evidence of all. Orlando dropped a bombshell that turned the Blackmail list from a celebrity scandal into a national security threat. He claimed that the list contains the names of 3 former heads of state and a current high-ranking member of the humanitarian elite. This isn't just about actors anymore. This is about the people who write the laws. This is about the people who tell you how to live your life. Orlando Brown has issued an ultimatum. I have the master key. I have the passwords to the raw Red Room servers. If my signal goes dark for more than 12 hours, the raw, unedited footage will be broadcast via a satellite bypass. The cliffhanger that has the world paralyzed? Orlando said the first video he'll release involves a global philanthropist who is currently leading a major children's charity. If that video drops, the very concept of charity and goodness will be destroyed forever. The clock is ticking, and the elite are running out of places to hide. But wait until you see how the public is reacting to the first name on that humanitarian list. The world has officially split in 2. On one side, you have the Great Awakening. On the other, you have the Great Silence. The reaction from the public has shifted from curiosity to pure, unbridled rage. Outside the gates of major studios in Los Angeles, protesters are gathering with signs that simply read, "Release the unredacted list." The police presence is at an all-time high. It feels like the city is on the verge of a riot. But the internet is where the real battle is being fought. Fake troll farms are allegedly being paid millions of dollars to flood the comments of every video related to Orlando Brown with messages like, "He's crazy," "This is AI," and "Don't believe the hype." But for every bot, there are 10,000 real people demanding the truth. The fan debates are heartbreaking. You see videos of people crying, throwing away limited edition vinyl, and peeling posters off their walls. It's a collective mourning of their childhoods. How could they, is the question on everyone's lips. How could someone who made me laugh while I was being bullied be a part of this? Celebrity reactions have been telling. Most have gone radio silent. Their PR teams have locked down their comments and disabled direct messages. But a few have tried to get ahead of the story. One famous comedian posted a 10-minute video claiming he was tricked into visiting the island for a business meeting and left as soon as he realized something was wrong. Orlando's response to that video was a single word posted on his burner account, "Liar," followed by a specific timestamp for a video he hasn't even released yet. The industry is divided. Younger stars, who were never invited to the inner circle, are starting to speak out. They're using the hashtag #CleanHouse, calling for a total boycott of the studios named in the Blackmail list. But the veteran A-listers, the godfathers of the industry, are allegedly holding secret emergency meetings at a high-security hotel in Bel Air, trying to figure out how to neutralize the situation before the 48-hour timer runs out. News reports are becoming more and more erratic. Major networks are refusing to even say Orlando Brown's name, referring to the situation only as unverified online rumors. This media blackout is only making the public more suspicious. Why aren't they reporting on what is potentially the biggest leak in human history? The division between supporters and haters has become a cultural litmus test. If you support the leak, you're labeled a conspiracy theorist. If you ignore it, you're called a complacent enabler. The tension is a powder keg, and Orlando just tossed a match. He claimed that he has been contacted by a whistleblower from within the FBI who confirmed that the blackmail list matches the one they have in their evidence lockers, the one they were told never to investigate. The statement that fueled the fire? Orlando said, "The people you think are the heroes are the ones who sign the checks for the villains. There are no good guys in the hills." As the world waits for the countdown to expire, the air feels heavy. People are staying home. They are glued to their screens. They know that when that timer hits 0, the names on the blackmail list will be the only thing anyone ever talks about again. But Orlando has one final twist that nobody saw coming. The timer hit 0, and the world held its collective breath. Millions of people sat staring at their screens, fingers hovering over the refresh button, expecting a digital explosion that would level the Hollywood Hills. For 3 agonizing hours, the internet went into a terrifying silence. No leaks, no names, no updates. The panic was instantaneous. "They got him," the comments screamed. The industry finally silenced Orlando. Rumors of a high-speed chase in the desert and a raid on a private server farm began to circulate. It felt like the truth had been smothered just seconds before it could breathe. But then, at exactly 12 a.m., a new file was uploaded to a public cloud, bypassed by a mirrored satellite link that no corporate firewall could touch. It wasn't the blackmail list. It was something much, much worse. A video appeared of Orlando Brown sitting in a pitch-black room, his face lit only by the cold, flickering light of a terminal screen. He didn't look scared. He didn't look manic. He looked like a man who had already seen the end of the world. He leaned into the camera and whispered, "The list you've been fighting over for the last 48 hours? That was the distraction. That was the bait to see who would scramble to hide. The real list is the one I am on." The final twist sent shockwaves that crashed the hosting site within seconds. Orlando Brown revealed that he didn't just collect this data. He was forced to be a record keeper during his final, shadowed years within the studio system. They trusted him with the ledger because they thought they had successfully destroyed his mind. They thought he was a non-player who couldn't process what he was seeing. He revealed that the list the public has seen so far is only the front office, the faces you see on posters. The other 90%? Those are the names of the people who are currently hunting him. The people who own the banks, the networks, and the very satellites he's using to broadcast. He then dropped the ultimate bombshell. "I've sent the master key to 3 specific people. These aren't celebrities. These are people you've never heard of, living in places they can't find. If I stop posting for more than 48 hours, or if my heartbeat monitor goes flat, the insurance policy is activated." The insurance policy isn't just a document. It is a 24/7 global broadcast of the raw, Red Room footage, set to play on every hacked smart TV and digital billboard in major cities across the globe. Orlando is threatening a total, unedited exposure of the elite's darkest rituals, played on a loop until the system itself collapses. But here is the cliffhanger that has turned the truth movement on its head. Orlando ended the video with a warning that made everyone look at their neighbors with suspicion. He said, "Check the names of the people who are calling themselves my biggest supporters tonight. Check the people who are amplifying my voice. Some of them are on the 90% list. They aren't trying to help me. They are using the noise to find out exactly which server holds their specific video. They are among you." Suddenly, the line between hero and villain has vanished. Is the celebrity whistleblower actually a fixer in disguise? Is the viral journalist actually a handler trying to locate the master key? Orlando's last words were a chilling promise. The biggest name on the list is the person you would never believe. The person who is watching this right now and thinking they're safe. I see you. The screen cut to a stark, pulsing red 48 hours countdown. The drama isn't over. It has evolved into a high-stakes game of survival. The blackmail list was just the beginning of a global purge. Orlando has gone dark again, and the clock is ticking. If he doesn't check in by tomorrow night, the insurance policy goes live. This is the most dangerous story we have ever covered. The blackmail list is real, the panic is total, and the stakes are life and death. The algorithms are trying to suppress this, but you can keep the truth alive. Like and share this video immediately to bypass the censorship. Who is the global icon Orlando is warning us about? Drop your theories in the comments. We are reading everything. If you want to see the insurance policy the second it leaks, you must subscribe and hit the bell icon. The 48-hour clock is ticking. Stay awake, stay loud, stay tuned.